computer. Okay, good morning, Nick, Dani and Joe. I'm Honor from Honor Way, and I'm here today with Nick and Dani from Zambian Ground Handlers, who we work with, and Joe, my colleague. We're together today to have a little chat about Walk Luangwa 2020, which Nick and Dani were lucky enough to join. So to start us off, Nick, can you just tell us a little bit more about what Walk Luangwa 2020 is about, or was about?
Yeah, sure. It was the concept of Nick Ridden from Remote Africa Safaris in the South Luangwa. And the idea behind it was to walk most of the length of the Luangwa as it passes through 3 national parks, the North Luangwa, the South Luangwa National Park, and Luambi National Park. And the reason behind it was to try and raise awareness and to raise funds for conservation, because with so little or no international tourism this year, there is very limited source of funds coming to the conservation and the community charities that work in the Luangwa Valley, who rely so heavily on the tourist dollars that come through the region.
Okay, and was there a core group of walkers that did the whole thing? How did it work?
It was a 17-day walk in total. Nick Ridden himself did the whole lot, and he was joined by a young couple from Zimbabwe, Matt Blair and Mana Meadows, who were reporting and doing blogs and journaling and taking video interviews throughout the 17-day walk.
Fantastic. And how did Zambian Ground Handlers get involved? How did you two come to be a part of this as well?
We were invited. He asked if I would like to send one of the team along, and I said I'd definitely like to do it myself. Dani was copied in on the email. She said she'd like to have a go. So he invited us both along for a small section. So we both did 3 days each, separate parts of the walk.
Brilliant. So it sounds like it's been a tremendous success, and you had many other people join and support you along the way. Nick, tell us who you were with over your 3 days.
The walk came down through the North Luangwa Park for a couple of days with staff from the North Luangwa Conservation Project. They then returned, and I was with John Coppinger, who's owned Remote Africa Safaris for 30 odd years. So he and I joined the walk then for 3 days, and we went from the middle of the North Luangwa, walking down to the Luambi National Park, to Luambi Camp, and we stopped there after 3 days. Yeah.
Brilliant. And Dani, what about your part?
Because I was in the southern part of the park, it was a lot easier for people to join in. So my first day, I had Glenn Evans from Time and Tide. He joined us, as well as Henry and Tandy from ZCP, the Zambian Carnival Program. They joined us for that walk. And then the next day, we had Benson Kanyemba, who won the Tusk Award last year, with Bovax, his partner, as well as the ZCP and CSL vet. So that was quite a tough walk because obviously Benson's quite high up. So our scout Benson was a bit nervous, and we route marched through the park with Benson.
So you were going at quite a pace?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's a day in the life of a ranger then, in fact.
Yeah, and they were also telling us about their training, saying they have to do this march when they're in training with a 10 kg rock.
Oh, wowzers. And how much was your bag?
I had a day pack, so it was like 3 kgs.
That's okay. Nick, you probably had to carry a little bit more because you had your camping equipment as well then, didn't you?
Yeah, we weren't going from camp to camp. We camped rough on the riverbank each night. So yeah, we were carrying tents, all those stripped down tents, because every ounce weighs a lot more at the end of a long day of walking. Yeah, tents and sleeping rolls and food, and we were taking water from the river. We were filtering, digging a scrape in the sandbank next to the river, as elephants and other animals would, and then we were filtering that water for drinking, but carrying all our food and cooking stuff and things like that. So yeah, a little bit more than 3 kilos on our backs.
So good training for you. How was it going back to wild camping, really? Because it's probably been a little while.
Yes, it's not something I've done an awful lot of, but I quite like comfortable, luxurious camping these days. But no, it was good fun. It was good fun.
And probably also quite educational for both of you to be out with the teams and seeing what's going on the ground at the moment, really. What was it like being there, certainly during this time?
Interesting to see areas like the Luangwa with no tourists and no people. I specifically chose the front end of the walk because it was an area of the Luangwa Valley that I'm not so familiar with. But I then subsequently, after I'd finished walking, spent a few days down in the central and Fui area of the South Luangwa, and quite strange to be there with in the middle of August with no people around. Quite a privilege too.
Yeah, and Dani, same for you. You would have been around the camps that would actually normally be in peak season right now.
Yeah, a lot of the camps specifically open for us, like Kukuli, where we stayed the first night. They set up the whole lodge in 10 minutes just so we could have a bed to sleep in, which was quite nice of them. And also Fui Lodge was super, super quiet, which is very bizarre.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that place quiet, so it would be a very strange experience. But as you say, Nick, also quite privileged because so how would you feel, you know, the communities out there, how are they aware of everything in the world? How does it feel down there? I'm trying to work out the right question, but, you know, so are they aware of everything in the world or
yeah.
You know, how are they preserving their community as well?
There's generally a very good awareness of what is happening around the world at the moment, and that is obviously impacting areas like the Luangwa Valley quite obviously, with the fact that there's no tourists arriving and staying there. So yeah, all the residents, whether they're involved directly in tourism or not, all the residents of the Luangwa Valley are very conscious of what is going on at the moment.
And what's being done in the meantime to preserve and protect, in effect?
Well, the conservation organisations and indeed the community projects as well are all continuing their work. It's just a little bit harder for them now. And of course, particularly with the conservation element to it, there's more pressure, economic and social pressure on the communities living surrounding the park. And so there is a higher tendency for illegal offtake, for snaring and poaching for the pot. So yeah, there's even more work to be done this year than normal.
But I gather on the positive that there was an agreement that all snares you would find would go to mulberry mongoose. But I gather from Dani that none were actually found. So that's quite encouraging.
Yeah, that was. It was quite interesting. I mean, it's good that no snares were found, but it's amazing. But I think there is still maybe some things happening around the park that aren't found because maybe there aren't tourists in the area or people don't go there as often.
Yeah, I gathered that, Nick, you had a first-hand experience there of a day in the life of the anti-poaching unit and all of that.
Yeah, we did. We also didn't come across any snares per se, but that when anti-poaching patrols go out looking for snares, it's a slightly different reason for being in the bush, and you do it slightly differently. But yes, unfortunately, we came across a fairly freshly poached elephant. It had probably been dead close to 2 weeks, and had its ivory hacked out. So yeah, that was a stark reminder of what we were doing and why we were doing it. Yeah,
definitely. And and when you were with the scouts, when you came across that, did you then get to witness firsthand how they would normally deal with that, what they do?
It hadn't been previously discovered, so we were the ones that found it. We were with a scout, obviously, so he was able to report back once we were able to get in contact with his command. We reported the location, and a team would have gone in there, an investigation team would have gone in there very, very soon thereafter.
Okay. So along the way, you had various people join you on the walk. I gather that the conservation storytellers were interviewing people as well. Are there any particularly interesting people that you came across, Dani, that that maybe stuck in your mind?
Well, everyone I walked with were amazing. The ZCP guys had some incredible stories about how they got into the program and about their wildlife encounters. Benson and Bovax also had some really, really great stories, and also talking about how they are educating people in the community about cohabitation and living amongst animals and everything. And Matt and Mana also spoke to one of the chiefs in the north, and they asked him about his thoughts of conservation, and he said something really interesting. He said, you didn't see Noah carrying stones onto the ark, instead he had animals. So it's something that you have to preserve, which was quite an interesting thing.
It is, definitely. So all in all, what did you think of this experience, Nick?
Yeah, no, it was memorable. It was fantastic. It was a privilege to be invited along and to have an opportunity to be part of it, and to join in the effort to try to raise both awareness and funds for the area. So yes, I think it was a great project, and it was good to be a part of it.
And Dani, what do you think?
I know it was very good. Even though I didn't have such a heavy bag as Nick, it was a lot more tougher than I thought.
So what was the toughest part for both of you?
Well, I think the difference between a regular safari walk, of which I've done plenty over the years, when you're slowly ambling through the bush looking for game, what we were doing there was more what I would term a patrol pace. So we were trying to get from A to B, and that turned out to be between 25 and 30 kilometers each day, which is quite a lot on rough ground and loose sand and what have you. So the pace of the walk, I hadn't done any training. Didn't think it would be necessary. I might do next time I do something like that. But no, it was good. It was tough though.
I gather you did have some blisters, whereas Dani didn't. So Dani obviously had a secret there. What was it?
Every time we took a break, I would take my shoes off and put Vaseline on my feet.
Oh, wow, that's a really good little trick.
Yeah, Mana did her research for the 17 days, and she didn't get one blister in the 17 days she walked.
Wow. Was the temperature quite nice for the walking?
It was very hot when I was walking. Very
Well, we certainly missed you, and we both, Joe and I both tried to support you with walks, probably not on as tough terrain, although I did question it in Wales one day. Joe, you took your boys out. How was that? Did you explain to them what this was all about?
Yes, so we did a lovely walk, a 10k walk along the South Downs near Seven Sisters, it was a beautiful sunny day, and the boys loved it. Actually, it was the highlight of their holiday apparently, and yeah, they had great fun. They actually ran most of it, which was quite hard to keep up with. But yeah, we've been learning about Africa with homeschooling, so it was really interesting to explain to them about Zambia, which they already know through our homeschooling. So yeah, it was good.
Nick, do you think this is something that could be done on a yearly basis, even after we've sort of hopefully come out of this challenging situation? Because I think there might be quite a lot of people, including Joe and I, that would want to help and support and join.
There would be, and a number of people have said that to me since in the last week or so. It would, unfortunately, I think, be something that was very difficult to offer on a commercial basis to members of the public. It also be very difficult to do it again peak season, because for much of the walk in safari camps, and those camps obviously are normally full each year. So I think if you future, it would need to be entirely rough camping as we did in the first part of the walk, and that, as I say, is really quite hard to organize and to sell. I'm sure we could put something together for you two and have you guys out there.
Well, we would love to support it, you know, as much as we can. And it's been amazing following everybody's efforts. Certainly what Nick Ridden has put together has been incredible. And of course, now you've got the Ride for Rangers going on with ongoing efforts cycling through from the south to the north. So it's very heartening to see all the efforts that are being made. So well done, you guys. I know that you've raised a really significant amount, as has Nick, but I think to finish off, you know, if anyone did still want to donate, it is still possible, isn't it?
It is. We're leaving the Just Giving page open for another week or so, in case anyone out there hasn't had a chance to get on there and give some small donation. Everything is very much appreciated.
Well, well done, guys, and I have really looked forward to seeing the posts every day. So well done on taking part in something so amazing. Thank you, guys, for being here today. I'm going to wish you all a good day.